And so we have a hell of a month. A lot of Mars ruled theme, maybe. Mars, the good side of Mars means um, just activating and getting something done that needs to be done, getting it done quick, efficient. You know, it's very on to task, and it's brave, courageous, gets the job done. And then we have an eclipse with all of this, you know, and what's strange is, you see, I have a biography that includes playing music and being affiliated with musicians, and what has been um, in my mind for the past, well, 3 days is strange. First, it was the chords that were played. Like a couple weeks ago, I was imagining, because I imagine music a lot, and there's this chord structure that's like, it's coming in, you know, I'm like, well, yeah, I remember that tune. It sounds almost like when we played it, when we tried to play it live, it sounded totally different. But I know these chord structures, and I'll see. The point is that they come into my mind that this chord structure come in. Well, it's the same chord structure as this band. Now I realized that was playing, and so it was 3 days ago that I added their lyrics. The lyrics goes like this. I'll just repeat it to you without singing. Nineveh is in ruins. Who will mourn for her? Nineveh is in ruins. Who will mourn for her? It's a beautiful way that they put it together. They just kept saying that. And then there's a chorus. Um, Nineveh is like a pool, and her water is draining away. Stop, stop, they cried, but no one looked back. And it's a weird song, you know. When I first heard it, I don't know anything about the Bible or religion or anything, but these people are singing this, and you know how some people are with their music doing that, and um, it just it's a I love music, you know, and everything, and but the harmony when they're singing it, I'm going to try to recreate it here. It's beautiful, you know. You create a harmony with the chorus. Nineveh is in ruin. Who will mourn for her? And there's like 6 people, or you can overlay 6 um, harmonizations with this chord structure. And anyway, that's what came into my mind the past 3 days. And then I look just this morning. I see the big deal, you know, about the eclipse. There's one eclipse that happened some months ago that went through one way and it hit Salem, which means peace, and then there's another one that's happening coming up here, and it runs through Nineveh. There's a town, I guess, called Nineveh, or a county in Texas called Nineveh. And anyway, yeah, that just because it's in the air, I bet catching that song and whatever. Um, all of the speculations, just as I did here today, which isn't even a speculation, it's just who knows what advertisement that was. What I'm offering in this video so far is, well, am I kidding me? Eating, making sure that you get completely sidetracked. But not me. You are choosing to look at this shit. Yeah, I'm here to boggle your mind out about it, and just say, hey, it doesn't matter what you speculate about that. See, um, idiots, and especially the control system, we have a problem with how they announce things, and then they want us to play the charades game, and I know what the word is now. It's virtue signaling, something I have nothing to do with, but what goes on, just to, it's a, see, if you're a sadomasochistic psycho, then you're into virtue signaling purely because it pisses somebody off. And it pisses off the ones that are able to suffer the most. What I mean is that they feel more. See, they don't feel or have a conscience, and so they would take part in the virtue signaling that says, stay safe, and takes everybody's breath away and their rights away. Um, it's because, well, it comes from the faction, the talk about warlords. I want to really talk about the Mars in the sky. See, there's warlords that conduct that programming, and they get away with it. See, there's a difference between warlords and war heroes. And that's what is in the air right now, as far as what can happen for humanity that's going to keep pressing through, which is the human spirit. The human spirit is not warlordy. It's more like a warrior. It's more like I said, a war hero who just sets people free and enables them into the right, say, behavior or something, most likely, that would have to happen. I mean, we're not talking about I mean, at all, what has been, how do you like my situation here? I just didn't want to waste this beautiful part of the book, which is just blank, I was talking about best-selling paperback in the world. It's what the war hero would be selling. Get you back on track. That is your key to your real life. No words. Beyond words and symbols. This moment now. The void. Relax. Oh. Speaking of war heroes, warlords, take the war out of it and imagine the kind of life that we would live where it's really hard to talk about. It's not hard to talk about though, but okay, so I saw somebody post something the other day and it said, try to do this. Try to convince 10 or all of your friends to sell everything. Put your monies together and buy 100 acres of land. Live there and do your own farming and even raise your own families there. And I'm like, it's like, yay, yeah. But I'm thinking like, okay, but what if people just came together in their neighborhoods, like this community that I live in here, which is inside of a mountain where there's like only 2 roads coming in? There should be is there a community here that lives here full time who are can we switch that intention that says this is all of ours, all of it. This land is my land, this land is your land. What do we produce out of it? What is our harvest every year? There's got to be something. It can't be that it's just a hamburger flipping fucking tourist trap. That what is being harvested there? I'm thinking, why can't communities just come together like that and say, excuse me, and like whole neighborhoods, say neighborhood blocks, say, aren't you for taking these fences down? Wherever there's a fence, imagine there a corn row or some trees that grow fruits. and the effort to put that together. And even though you have differences and you have totally different beliefs, you're all a bunch of mental cases. Can you just agree that there's only one sky here? It includes the truth about the land. There's only one piece of land here. There's only one environment. What do you think that you're now not responsible for the ambiance of the place or even your living condition, like say the ecology of just the people there? Just because you say you own land? See, this is where I'm at on my neighborhood, and it's like, okay, and these people are putting more fencing up when really, I think now that we're all settled in here, why can't we? Are we settled in here or not? If not, get out of here. I'm talking about the people who can decompress and sit here and think, what are we doing here? What is our harvest every year? What's here that fountains out and says, proudly, we live in intention over this? There's a lot of things already in place happening that is just pushed around and pushed under the carpet for the hamburger flipping fucking wheel spinning society that's mixing up with it includes the erroneous act of like environmental pollutions that it's all of a sudden it's like, well, why don't we care? What happened? Why isn't it being protected? Why are there two Gwen towers in town? Not even hardly within fucking, let's say, not even a quarter of a mile of each other. Not even that. It's just around the block. It's like, why did you put two of those in? Why? I'll tell you why. You're being hit. Want to talk about warlords? You're being fucking hit by non-human entities that want you dead. You know, I'm going to put this. I'm going to try and make this longer and more, just talking about that concept of. See, I can see it. It's like, okay, so really, I'm supposed to buy this shit. That just because, okay, it's not just because I own land, but really, it's like here I am, sandwiched in what I can see. It's just an insane asylum because none of these people have an idea of living together. Not the way that you should. It's insane because they don't know where they are. They don't know the difference. It would be better if they knew that they were imprisoned. Now, how do you live here? Do you realize, first of all, that you're affecting each other? Everything that you do affects the next person down the road because you're bunked up here. Now, why does it have to be so unconscious? Why can't you just go like this and say, because look, it's going to happen anyway. But how are you going to be? Are you going to be prepared? Or are you going to be chopping each other's head off and going cannibalistic? Because you didn't practice like even thinking psychologically. That's why I'm putting this video out. I'm going to post it. Not even prepared psychologically. Well, maybe I don't have to live in a bubble and so shut out and fencing everybody up and getting a compliment because I built an electric fence. And no, we didn't come here to do that. What did we come here to do, really? And this is pertaining to the entire globe, but it can't be like a one global operation that has one squawk box that's in the sky and it lights up and says, for $2.99 you can get this right now, and plugs into your brain. No. We have microclimates and microcosms called community, even on your block, on your street. Could make up a thing called a city, maybe, whatever that shit's going on. Just figure there's a community. And you figure if it works and it does great, and it does. See, I'm a trendsetter, and I know. See, I was the first one to have chickens here. And every woman that has a chicken now, that has chickens now, and walked around and lives around me in my neighborhood, they came to my house and bought eggs for years. Some of them are pretty sketchy. You know, I'm kind of wary of people, but some of them are just women that are like, you know. And later on, they would try to have chickens, include some people a few doors down, and they struggled with it because they're birds. They actually take a little bit more than just throwing them seeds and water. You know, they kind of look at you and make sure that you're looking at them, and then they're very delicate. They could die in too much heat or they can die in too much cold. And theirs kept dying in the cold. They just thought that they can handle the cold, and the chickens eventually, you know, they're resilient at first, but then eventually they just get knocked down because the days are cold too. They need to be heated up. And so anyway, it took a long while, but it caught, and it's still a task, and everybody's talking about how you do it. And I'm not saying that I started that trend because it was supposed to happen, but I'm the first one that did it. I'm the first one that had a crowing rooster. I think in Idlewild. I mean, really, I don't think. I mean, maybe it was happening, but there's times when it stops because there isn't the presence and the intention here. When they were doing logging, see, this was just a logging place, and people moved in and out of here. There's a toll gate where they used to take the logs in and out. That was the main road going out. And anyway, all that history is gone, but the essence of it is really just what is it? There were people living in intention here, I think, and really they were allowed to do things. Really, and I'm talking about institutionalized. Uh, the reality of where we live. That's why I'm saying, well, why do you have to go under the directions so blindly through the warlords that are controlling you to say build cabins in the wilderness and call it what cabin home, summertime homes, or are they? What are they? See, they're not defining it, but they're controlling the housing market and the way that it all looks, and it's all looking pretty like it's not really living in the mountains. It's not using the resources there to create a simple life, which would be to burn the dead and dying wood, and even using it to build things, or what, like I said, what is the harvest? Don't mean to keep bantering on and on here, but see, this is the thing that has come up so many times, and as far as I'm concerned, if it's looking like this around the world, whatever this is, it's totally disorganized and actually poisonous to each other. There's going to be a massive, like, smoking fucking, I don't want to call it war, but yeah, and then there's going to be always the war hero that says, I found the way, I made it through. Did you, can you see that this might be the way to do it? Or what is it? What is a war hero? But somebody who just gives everybody, I don't want to say hope, but an envision. They can give them a vision, say, no, look, babes, you're being tugged under. You're being played hard by that fucking system that says, I couldn't do it without you. Become a fucking warlord instead of a war hero. Something that will never, the warlord won't ever fucking solve the problems they're causing out there, which includes the constant segregation and separation, and giving the people the impression that ownership of land means that you just shut each other out. I mean, what the fuck is that, you people? There's going to come a time that you're going to wonder. I wonder right now, how do you afford to live that way? How do we think we can afford to live like that? Because look, when it becomes time that it's obvious that you're being controlled by warlords and they're pinching off resources and shit, you're going to ask and you're going to see. You could have never, ever, ever in a million years afforded to have lived that way. Under the illusion that you're separate and you don't have a profound responsibility to dial in on what can we harvest around there. If anything, of the example that we set as a people that knows where they are. Here in Idlewild. And every community can adopt it, but this is a very unique place, and it's not setting any example at all. In fact, what I have detected and what has moved in here into positions of just tooling about as power, as just money, that's fixed up. They are fixed up with the fixtures of the agenda of the warlords, all of it. But you have to see that it's the world condensed, because, like, say, let's look at the veterinarian and how they're capitalizing on, why is it such a fuss about your dog food? I'll tell you why. Because most of it is poisoned. And so they're saying, well, and they're starting to advertise right there. They're saying it like this. Well, you don't want your dog to be like half kilter. You don't want them to be kind of just okay. You want them to be great. So that's why we got this new food, and it's so scientifically. Why is that happening? It's because most of it has been tainted and poisoned. Your dogs are only living up to be fucking 15 and 16 when they can be 20 to 25. And they're getting more and more illnesses just like human beings. The diabetes, the epilepsy, the extra tumors, the fucking heart disease, all of that shit is coming from what? Vaccines and the shitty food that they're actually poisoning it. That's what's happening. It's like, stop! But they're not. Narcissists are so... And they're catching on to these trends, right? And it's like, go ahead, you can try it. See, the cool thing about chickens as far as a pet is like, well, first of all, they're not tainting it. The veterinarians aren't. They tried to, and you better watch out because if you're relying on their foods, they're putting shit in it to make them all kinds of weirdness. Not reproduce right. They won't reproduce females, not for you, because that's what they mainly want, and they do it for them, right? They pump estrogen up, and they're manipulating all that chemically science diet. The science diet, globally owned, one fucking thing. No, 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 uh-uh. No, my chickens are showing me right now, no, we need to get out and eat worms and eat some of the sprouts that are coming up and dig in the dirt because this stuff right here that they're like, ugh. You know, they do eat it. They do. They do. They're being good chickens. They'll eventually eat it, you know? Just like a human will eventually go, like, will settle for the non-perishables from the church. Oh my God, and all of that stuff is poisonous. It's the last of the, it's like the last straw that you reach, and it's the shortest one. You're like, this poisonous shit we have to follow back on. Created by what? Not war heroes. They're not keeping anything alive, not keeping you alive. Warlords created that fucking shit. It is fucking woo! It's happening. It's going to happen. It is happening. Come together, people. You people will be judged. You're living impoverished. You won't get anything of the universe or anything good. You're going to stay impoverished and imprisoned in this fucking... I'll tell you what right now. Nothing impressive going on here. Nothing impressive going on here. No, it's a mess. It's a mess of just... It's looking like fallen retardedness that is being allowed to a certain way just manage itself and don't get involved with each other. And it's like, yeah, why? Because you don't want to. You're all fucking crazy. True.